Today we're going to check out the legendary Proco Rat pedal, the iconic distortion pedal used by many guitarists, including the one and only David Gilmour of Pink Floyd. We'll compare the original Rat with the newer model and see if there's a real difference in tone. The original Proco Rat, this is mine from way back when, had an LM308 op amp, which is known for its unique distortion characteristics and a slightly warmer, smoother sound. Many players prefer this for its vintage vibe, but it can be pricey. I've seen the price increase and jump up on reverb. On the other hand, the newer Rat uses a TI OP07 op amp, which offers slightly different tonal qualities. The newer op amp might have more clarity, brighter sound, but some enthusiasts feel that they lack the character of the original LM308 op amp. Regardless, the Rat pedal is super useful. It can be used as an overdrive, a distortion, or a fuzz based on how you set it up. So what I'll do in this video is I'll run it through its paces and do a side-by-side comparison to see if we can hear any real differences. But first, let's talk about the original Rat. This was mine from back in the day. It's a folded thin sheet metal box. It's got 4 screws. You have to take it apart to get the battery out, which is very inconvenient. It has this mini kind of jack with a tip and sleeve for the 9-volt adapter, which is weird. And it's very boxy. There's no slant on it, so it kind of sticks up on the pedal board. It's got stick-on rubber feet, which you can see they have been sliding around over time. But it's never failed me, and I love this thing. This newer Rat is more compact. It's folded sheet metal again, but it looks like a U shape with thicker metal and a nice wrinkled powder coat on the side, so this will stand up to a lot of abuse without scuffing or scratching. It's got a little door here with a screw to access the battery. So you loosen that and this little thing comes off and your battery's right in there. It's got a standard power adapter for 9 volts. And it's got a sloped front, so it sits better on the pedal board and easier to hit the foot switch. The controls are exactly the same, but it definitely feels a little more hefty, a little more solid, and probably can take more abuse. Also, this has an LED that tells you when it's on or off. Before I get started, I'm going to go over what I'm doing. First thing, at work we always say, put a scope on it. So I'm going to run a sine wave through them and look at the wave pattern, see if I can see any difference. Next, I'm going to run it through with my Stratocaster. I'll do an overdrive, distortion, and fuzz test. And then I'll do the same thing with my Les Paul. I'll do side by side and click back and forth between the 2 pedals. And we'll see what's what. And then we'll follow up with a little summary, conclusion, and review what I heard. Okay, so here I have about a 1K sine wave going into it, putting the distortion up on the vintage Rat. And we have some nice soft clipping. You can see we're getting kind of a square wave-ish looking thing with nice round edges. As I do the filter, it turns into a sawtooth. And what I'll do is lock that waveform into the scope, so we have that for reference. And again, that's a 1K sine wave, and I think it's about half a volt peak to peak, similar to a guitar. Okay, turn that off. Now we got the second new Rat. You see the pot's a little sticky there, probably needs to be cleaned. But getting the distortion up to about the same level, and it looks to have the same waveform. Change the filter, we go to a sawtooth, and now we're back to our soft clipped wave. Now I'm overlaying Rat 1 on Rat 2, so it's vintage versus new, and the waveforms are very similar. Maybe one has a little bit more rounded edges on the newer one, but for all intents and purposes they look pretty identical. Sonically, you could probably hear more difference, but on the scope, I barely see anything with the sine wave. So what'd you guys think? Hopefully you gave it a full listen and can judge for yourself. Please let me know in the comments if you heard a difference. For me, I was a little surprised because I heard the vintage Rat was supposedly warmer and the new Rat had more clarity. But after I balanced and matched the sounds, I felt that the new Rat was woofier and had a little more mid-range, a little more growl to it. And the vintage Rat had slightly brighter sounding, a little more clarity, which was interesting. But like all audio tests, it's very subjective. And I think in a mix or in a live setting with a band, you won't be able to tell the difference. If I were to get a Rat today, I would definitely get the new one. It's a big improvement in design and form factor, and I actually like the woolliness a little better. I'll put a link in the description where I got mine. If you prefer the original mojo of a vintage Rat, keep an eye on eBay or Reverb. They show up all the time. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.